I rewired somebody's identity over the last 15 days and completely changed their confidence and life around for the better. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly the structure I took my client through to take him from point A at the beginning of December, which was lost, confused, feeling stuck in his own skin and unsure about the path ahead of him, to where we have him at right now, which is dialed in with his goals. His habit is on lock. His new routine unlocks his higher version of himself, and his wife, his children, and his entire family and clients love him. It's simple, but we got to break it down to the beginning. I ran him through a very similar process I went to not 3 years ago, which was breaking down my goals and my priority list, truly what mattered to me the most. The things that came out on top was my family, my friends, my financial well-being, and of course, my self-love. When I broke down those pillars and I thought, what are my friends going to think when they see me shifting into this new identity? What is my family going to think when I start to go down a new path that's different, that they're not used to? Will they even approve of it? What are my finances going to look like as I become this brand new identity and shift into the actions they carry? And what is my self-love and self-talk really going to look like as I'm evolving into this higher version of the person I'm aiming to become? I was in a lot of pain before, and that pain fueled my transformation to going from a broke 21-year-old that was lost in his own thoughts, spending hours in front of a computer screen playing video games and eating an unlimited amount of buy one, get one free orders on Uber Eats, to completely shifting my life around to be so purpose driven, living halfway across the world in New Zealand, fulfilling my dream, my purpose, and my goals, and putting my family and my belief above everything else, no matter how selfish that sounds. And the truth is, not everybody can just shift like that overnight. Hell, I didn't either. But you know what I did do? I did not give up. What I'm telling my client as we go through these weekly calls and reflections and workshops is we're removing specific words from our subconscious mind. We're removing can't. We're removing, man, time has flown by so fast. I'm dreading this next year. We're removing what if I don't make it? And we're rewiring ourselves to be in full belief of our process through the backed process, which is our daily routine that we're crafting week in and week out and optimizing to make sure it's disciplined. It's hard. Some days are going to be more difficult than others, but you always pick yourself up when you need it the most. And when you look at that man or that woman in the mirror across from you, you're proud of who you're staring back at. You aren't in shame or disappointed by the version of you that you've allowed yourself to become. Now, the actionable steps for you to get there first, because this took 3 years for me and it's taken him 2 weeks to shift things in the right direction. First things first, we've got to identify the exact starting point you're at. For me, I was a broke 22-year-old living in my parents' basement as my father was dying of cancer with no goal of what's to come and what's my life going to look like. I was on track to be another actor that was struggling to get attention, just sending auditions into the void, waiting for a response. I knew deep down I needed to make a change. My game plan was I'm going to start going to the gym, focusing on my body first. That's going to help me build confidence, since that's how I'm wired. Once I feel more confident, I'm going to have more discipline to invest back into, sure, my finances, my work ethic, but how much I want to grow over the next handful of years and see my life evolve into. And then by showing up day in, day out, whether you felt like it or not, and even succeeding 5 out of the 7 days of the week, next thing you know, positive effects started to unravel themselves all around me and good things started to happen. It wasn't until around a year and a half ago where I began this true mindset shift of just positivity first. It sounds cringe. It sounds boring. People are still weirded out by it to this day. But I can't tell you how many more rooms and conversations this approach has gotten me into compared to when I allow that negative energy to still cast its weight over me as time went on. After I aligned with my goals and I started showing up day in, day out, I made a roadmap for myself. Where do I want to be by when? For myself, the number has been very clear. As I started this journey when I was 22, I made some goals about where I want to be by 25. Now I'm making some goals about where I want to be by 30. At the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen, which really isn't that bad, is you set these insanely high goals by the time I reach 30, and I either complete them by the time I'm 27, 28, or I come up just short at 30, and it's still monumental growth and success which lies ahead of me. Imagine that. All because I'm choosing to have a positive mindset and a positive approach to something that would be scary, uncomfortable. I don't know what next steps lie ahead for the average person. Instead, around here, we embrace discomfort and we push towards our new goals. The third thing that my client's doing right now that's allowing him to fully change everything is within that self-talk and self-love era. Call it woo-woo, call it strange, but at the end of the day, your verbiage on how you speak to yourself will be a direct outlier. Whether or not you're going to build some beautiful connections in life, you're going to continue to develop a strong, loving relationship with your partner, and whether or not you're going to make it successfully in this modern world that we live in. Because every way that you speak to yourself has that small chipping away effect on either a positive belief you're still holding on to or a negative belief that you're getting rid of. Every time you say something negative, it chips away at that positive side to you. Can you really take it? Can you handle more pressure? I don't think you can. You're not capable of this. Who said you're able to do this? This is an imposter syndrome. No, instead, we're going to chip away at the negative side by just stacking positive wins and positive self-talk to remind ourselves, hey, you're on the right track. Hey, good job getting those tasks done. Pat on the back. This is a small win on the journey of the big picture of what we're aiming for. And I truly believe with all my heart that you watching this can do the same thing. If you made it this far, just want you to comment the word believe so I know you're an 8-minute warrior. But apart from that, trust me, if you're committed to change, change is what's going to follow. Granted, if you aren't committed to change, you are not willing to put a plan, a routine, enforce some new non-negotiable habits, how do you expect to get to where you want to reach? Just by luck? By chance? Seriously. Every person who's made it, or every woman or man who's made it in this lifetime, has had a plan of success laid forward in front of them that they followed. And those who lucked out, those who struck gold and didn't know what to do with it because they didn't take the path to reach the finish line, they got lost on that journey after succeeding. Think, really, how many people after winning the lottery save at least 30 to 40% of that winning funds over the next 10 to 12 years? I'd like to place my money on less than 10, if not less than 5% of them. People aren't prepared for what's ahead of them when they have $1 million, $10 million, $50 million, just one in the blink of an eye. It's like an 18-year-old doing a startup on a software app. Congratulations, you guys sold another AI calorie tracker for 60 mil. What now? Are you prepared to handle that wealth in a responsible way that brings you investments and returns in the future, but you can spend accordingly in the present? I'd argue the majority won't be, and the majority won't end up being rich. You and I, we're playing the long-term game. I'm not there yet. I've still got my imperfections that I'm dealing with day in, day out. Scrolling aimlessly, watching football when I know I could be productive, maintaining my focus when there's distractions all around, balancing work life with creator life online and embarking on a new challenge. You name it. The list goes on, as I'm sure it looks different for you. But it's not an excuse to no longer show up for who you want to be week in and week out and actually work towards your goals. You may be thinking, what's the structure you're working through right now that has granted this client so far the success he's seen? And the true reason why he's been able to shift his identity in such a 180-degree turn and go full sprint ahead to this higher version of himself is because week in, week out, we build up new identities and beliefs, and we reinforce them with reflections and awareness the following week. And because of this week in, week out process, we are constantly stacking an insane amount of foundation blocks to just bypass all of the troubles and tribulations I faced in my journey along that process. And you can do the same. If you don't want to send me a message, if you don't want to hop in a call and see if I can help, at least just go into your own journal, get very, very clear on what your specific goals are that you want to accomplish by the end of the year, by the end of 3 years from now, by the end of 5 years from now, by the time you're 20, 25, 30. I don't care. But be so crystal clear and so much conviction in your word, if not voice, if you're going to treat video as your form of verbal diary, that you will make it there by then, so that your subconscious mind begins to believe it's possible for you too, because it is. But you have to disable the part of you that's been turned on up until now, allowing you to stay stuck at the same confidence level you are. It's allow you to stay stuck at the same physique and the same shape when you've been looking at yourself in the mirror. You've become complacent. And at the end of the day, it's got you stuck at the exact same place you are financially in your life compared to the version of you who's unlocked abundance. If this video has resonated with you, press like. I'd really appreciate it. And stick around if you want to see more videos like this. 2026, I'm calling it, is the year for a parabolic uptick in content coming from yours truly. And I want to see every single one of you succeed that's watched this video up until this point. You're a real one. You've stood the test of time for your attention span. And if you'd like to stick around to see what's to come, like I said, drop a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace.